Let's go to Philip Yu now. He's the Executive Director of the Ploughshares Fund, former advisor on North Korea to President Bill Clinton. He's with us from San Francisco. Okay, so I guess let the brinkmanship begin. You know, that initial statement from North Korea, it was pretty tepid. Some people have speculated it was just a bluff. Especially, given past statements and threats coming from the North Koreans. But now that we have a much more strongly worded statement, still it's tepid or not as strong as other threats that the North Koreans have made in the past. But does this suggest to you that the North Koreans now are not bluffing? This is serious?
Well, the real negotiations are starting right now. Quite frankly, I was waiting for this to happen. Talks with North Korea, I've been in hundreds of hours with negotiations with them, scores, and never is a negotiation a straight line. At some point, they're going to make things bumpy, and this is what's happening now. The key question is, why are they doing this now? Some people are talking that there may be a genuine disagreement within North Korea and the leadership. I'm kind of doubtful of that, but we have to realize that North Korea is not a monolith, and these statements have been relatively low level. So there may be some kind of lack of coordination or some people trying to make their voice known. The second thing is they're genuinely concerned about these war exercises. B-52s are a part of this, which the North Koreans absolutely dislike. They've told us that, and they don't like those bombing runs. And there's some discussion that we may be pulling back on the B-52 parts of this as well. The third, be totally tactical, and just to see how much more leverage they can have, knowing that the South Korean President Moon Jae-in and Donald Trump have put a lot of stock into this. I mean, we have building this up, so now they pull the rug from out under us, and they're going to see how much more leverage they have on this. But I do think that it is all about denuclearization. As Kim Dae-kwon, the Vice Minister, and I've met him several times, he said, we're not going to give them up. It's all about timing. Do you give them up now, which is what the United States wants, or do they give them up later, which is what North Korea wants? And so this is the negotiation. This is where the rubber meets the road.
But with regard to the military drills, Philip, just to be clear here, back in March, I think it was the South Korean National Security Advisor stood in front of the White House and said Kim Jong-un realized that those military exercises, which had been delayed for the Winter Olympics, he understood that they would go ahead. And the impression the South Koreans gave was that Kim Jong-un was fine with that. Now, those exercises are over. These are new military drills which have started involving the Air Force and the B-52s. But why complain about those exercises now? They've known that this new round of military exercises were about to begin, and they started on Monday. So why complain now?
Yeah, so it's really interesting. I mean, these are, they've requested the talks. But what's going on is that the discussion is that the North-South declaration said no hostile action. And so while they can tolerate a certain amount, I guess the logic goes that the B-52s, which is a part of this, maybe rode too far. It's really unclear, and the only way we can find out is having a conversation with them for clarification as to what is it that they really mean. As I said, there's some discussion, we don't know if it's actually true or not, that the B-52s may no longer be a part of this. But we've known for a long time that this is something they really dislike. It's unclear whether or not we just didn't read the tea leaves right and went ahead with it knowing that there was some sensitivity and not to give the North Koreans any pretext for making an excuse.
Recently, when Donald Trump has talked about Kim Jong-un, he's been very flattering. He's used complimentary language like this last month. Listen.
So we're having very good discussions. Kim Jong-un he really has been very open, and I think very honorable from everything we're seeing. Now, a lot of promises have been made by North Korea over the years, but they've never been in this position.
Is the U.S. president now learning that maybe Kim Jong-un isn't quite so open, quite so honorable, quite straightforward as he thought?
Well, I can't speak for what Donald Trump is thinking. I've got to believe that his advisors say, expect something, expect the unexpected. This is what is part and parcel when you negotiate with North Korea. And so, as I said, the real negotiations are beginning right now, and it's going to be a sense of brinkmanship. Who's going to be able to hold out longer? And the North Koreans feel like they have some leverage. I think there's also some feeling that the Iran deal is also having an effect on this. The U.S. administration is getting roundly criticized for pulling out. there's some sense that Donald Trump needs to have a win or have some success on North Korea. And so I think what the North Koreans are doing, let's test this. Let's see how far we can push and see what happens. So this, in that sense, is very classic North Korean negotiating behavior.
Yeah, I guess as far as cancelling the South Korean meeting, it's one thing to walk out on South Korean government officials. It's another thing to cancel a summit with the US president, which they've been after for quite some time. Philip, appreciate you being with us. Thank you.
Thank you.